योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम्. Namaskara. After Madhvacharya composed the Sarvamula texts, many yatis, scholars and Haridasas followed in his lineage. For 700 years after Madhvacharya, these great personalities composed numerous commentaries, glosses and devotional songs. However, before starting to study these, I felt that understanding exactly how many texts exist, which text is a commentary on which is a gloss on which, was itself quite a confusing subject. Therefore, a few years ago I created a chart called Madhva Grantha Parampara and explained it in a video on this YouTube channel. Now that several AI coding tools have become available, I have used them to create an interactive web page. This video serves as an introduction and a demo for that web page. This is the layout of the web page. At the top, you will see a label titled Madhva Grantha Parampara. Let me first explain the layout below it. Every row here corresponds to a specific author. This is what the label authors shows here. Each name shown in color here represents an author, and every text that they composed can be seen in that specific row. If you look at the first row, it simply says Vedas because Vedas are not composed by anyone. They are apaurushaya, authorless, which is why there is no author's name in this row. However, from the second row onwards, every name belongs to an author. In the second row, the name of Lord Hayagriva appears, and if you look at the row, you can see that he composed the Moola Ramayana. In the third row, we have Vedavyasa. I have shown the timeline of his presence on earth here as well. For Vedavyasa, it shows 28th Dwapara, the time at which he appeared on earth. The texts he composed, such as Mahabharata, Brahma Sutra, the Puranas, are all shown here in this row. In the next row, Madhvacharya appears, with his time on earth shown here as well. You can find all the text composed by Madhvacharya in this row. As you look at the rows below this, you will see the disciples of Madhvacharya. I have arranged all this chronologically. It begins with the Vedas, which are eternal and beginningless, followed by Lord Hayagriva, then Vedavyasa, then Madhvacharya in the 13th century, and then the Shishyas of Madhvacharya, and then the Parampara continues all the way until Jagannatha Dasa in the 18th century. Now this covers the rows. Let's talk about the columns now. The columns represent the categorization of these texts. The first column here is Veda-Upanishad Prasthana. All the texts related to Vedas and Upanishads can be found in this column. This includes the Vedas, the Upanishads, the commentaries on these Vedas, the treatises, the glosses upon them and so on. Therefore, if we are interested in finding the text that Madhvacharya composed about the Vedas or Upanishads, we can look for it in this row and this column and find them. The second column here is called Sutra Prasthana. This contains the Brahma Sutra composed by Vedavyasa and all the commentaries and treatises written on them. The third column is Gita Prasthana, which includes Vedavyasa's Bhagavad Gita and all the related commentaries and glosses. The fourth column is Itihasa-Puranas, which includes the Moola Ramayana, Mahabharata and the 18 Puranas. All related texts are found in this column. One thing to note here is that the Mahabharata appears in both the Gita Prasthana as well as the Itihasa-Purana columns. This is because Mahabharata itself is an Itihasa and should actually appear in the Itihasa column. But Bhagavad Gita, which is within Mahabharata, belongs in the Gita Prasthana. Thus, this single work happens to appear in both columns. This is a special treatment which is given to only Mahabharata. The fifth column contains Prakarana Granthas, which are original treatises. These treatises, written by Madhvacharya, and all their related commentaries and glosses are listed here. Finally, there is other works, which includes texts that do not fit into any of the previous 5 columns, such as various stotras, stutis, devotional songs, and other miscellaneous texts. The next feature is that if you hover the cursor of your mouse over any of these boxes representing the granthas, you will see several arrows appear. These arrows indicate which commentaries, treatises, or glosses originated from this specific text. For example, I am now hovering over the Brahma Sutra. Arrows originate from Brahma Sutra pointing to Madhvacharya's Brahma Sutra Bhashya, Anuvyakhyana, Anubhashya, and Nyaya Vivarana. This shows that Madhvacharya wrote 4 commentaries on the Brahma Sutra. If you go down and hover over Madhvacharya's Anuvyakhyana, you will first see an arrow coming from Brahma Sutra to Anuvyakhyana, indicating that this Anuvyakhyana is a commentary on the Brahma Sutra. Additionally, 3 arrows go down from Anuvyakhyana. If we observe where they go, the first arrow goes to Sanyaya Ratnavali written by Padmanabha Tirtha, which is his commentary on Anuvyakhyana. The second green arrow, if you observe, goes to Nyaya Chandrika written by Narayana Panditacharya. This is Narayana Panditacharya's commentary on Madhvacharya's Anuvyakhyana. Finally, if you notice the third arrow, the blue arrow, it goes and joins Nyaya Sudha written by Jayatirtha. Nyaya Sudha is the famous commentary by Jayatirtha on Madhvacharya's Anuvyakhyana. Thus, this feature shows the source of every text and the commentaries that followed it. These arrows appear when you hover over the text, but they also appear when you click on the text boxes. Additionally, if you click on a box, instead of just hovering on it, a details section appears on the side. In this details section, I have shown the name of the text, its author, and a brief description here. Furthermore, I have also shown the source of the text and who wrote commentaries on it. The sources and commentaries seen here in the details section are the same ones that we saw earlier through the arrows. For example, I have clicked on Nyaya Sudha here. It shows its source as Anuvyakhyana. If I scroll up in the chart, I can see that an arrow comes from Anuvyakhyana to Nyaya Sudha. And looking at the commentaries in the details section for Nyaya Sudha, it lists Nyaya Sudha Guruvartha Deepika and Nyaya Sudha Parimala. We can see the same thing in the chart as well. One arrow originating from Nyaya Sudha goes to Vadiraja Tirtha's Nyaya Sudha Guruvartha Deepika, and the second arrow goes to Raghavendra Tirtha's Nyaya Sudha Parimala. The last point to mention here is that clicking on any author's name will take you to their author page. For example, if I click on the text that says Madhvacharya, it goes to Madhvacharya's author page. Here I've included a name, a photo, and some details about Madhvacharya. I've created such pages for every author mentioned here. At the top, there is a legend button. Clicking it displays the legend for this chart. Every author is represented by a specific color. The color associated with the author is shown in this legend. The text showing the author's name, the boxes for the granthas that they wrote, and the arrows leading to those boxes will all be in the same color. For example, in Madhvacharya's row, all texts are in red, and all arrows joining those texts are also red. I've also shown text types here. While major texts are in rectangular boxes, other types of texts like stotras, stutis, devaranamas are all shown in a different type of box. There is also a search bar at the top where you can search for any text. For example, if I type Gita in this search, all the boxes of the granthas containing the word Gita in their title are highlighted. Additionally, there are filters at the top. By default, the all filter is selected and it shows all the granthas. But if you want to see only specific texts, for example written by yatis or dasas or panditas, there are filters at the top for this. As mentioned, clicking on the all filter shows you all the texts, all granthas, stotras, stutis, devaranamas. As shown here, this includes 266 texts. However, if you want to see only the major works commonly studied today, clicking on Major Works filter will show you only 146 texts. One thing to clarify is that even while viewing all the 266 texts when the all filter is selected, I have only included the primary authors and the texts that are majorly studied today. I have not shown every single text that exists in Madhva philosophy. Furthermore, many texts are not available today, and I have not included those. For example, it is said that Vijayendra Tirtharu wrote around 104 texts, but many of them are unavailable today, so I have not shown any of them here. Finally, there is a link at the top called draw.io. If you click on it, you can see the original chart that I made years ago. This was the chart that I explained in my Grantha Parampara YouTube video a few years back. This one also has some limited interactive options, but I developed the new web page because this chart can be a bit challenging to understand. Note that this web page is primarily designed for desktop viewing. It is not very convenient to view this on a phone screen. Nevertheless, there is a mobile view for phones. If you try to load this page on a phone, it will ask you if you want the mobile view or the desktop view. If you select the mobile view, you will see this layout. While all information from the desktop view is available in this mobile view, the relationships between the texts are not as easily understood in this view. Therefore, if you're interested in exploring this page, I would recommend viewing this on a desktop browser. I've placed the link to this webpage in the video description. The website also contains other charts related to Sanatana Dharma and Madhva philosophy. You can check them out if you're interested. Dhanyavada, Shri Krishnarpanamastu.